Alright, we got this old weed eater found it along the roadside. It starts and kind of runs, but it doesn't idle, and it just drools gas everywhere. So I went ahead and just ordered the usual for this, which is these cheap Amazon rebuild kits, and I think it was like $14. So the hoses are all hard. You can see under here there's a whole set of hoses, and they're all hardened up, hard as a rock, not flexible anymore. And there's a little vent, this little vent right here, probably clogged, so it's not ventilating the fuel tank. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing apart and see if we can get her to run and idle and get us another free weed eater. Well, already got one problem. It doesn't have a air filter. It's not good. Hopefully they didn't run too long that way. You can use a square drive on these. Small square drive. You don't have to have a fancy Torx driver. Fancy Torx drivers are not necessary. Okay. Okay, there's your choke apparatus. As you can see, it's real simple. Just a little flap, so there's nothing really there that can fail except for the plastic piece breaking. Okay, now you are down to your throttle cable, which is got a lock nut right here. Back that off, 10 millimeter, and then this will lift out, and then you can spin this, and out it'll come. Just loosen this right here. Push it up and out, just like so. This will spin and push your cable. See how it pulls in there? Just push it that way and lift it right out. Now we've got our carburetor apart. First thing you want to do is look at the two, make sure that they're the same. Similar adjustments, similar attachments. All the parts are the same. I know they are. I've used these before on these weed eaters, but just showing you. You want to make sure all your little channels and everything are all the same, and they are. Now what's cool about these kits is they actually come with the filter, the air filter, which was missing from this one. And what's cool about this setup is it comes with the gasket right here. You don't have to try to feed these hoses any which way, and they're easy to identify. You've got one black and one yellow. You want to take your little carburetor and you want to hold it just like it is on the machine that you've got existing. And you can see where your hoses go, yellow and black. And we are just going to attach them just like so. Make sure you get them all the way down, because you're going to have a lot of vibration. Okay, so we have our hoses attached. We have our vent in the correct place. This is our pickup. This is our fuel pickup. And this is our vent. So this is all going to feed into the tank and remain exactly like it is. This is the vent hose. So this doesn't need to be in the fuel, but this is the drop. This is going to drop down deep into the tank, and it's going to make sure that it gets all the way down in, and you can run this thing down almost to an empty tank of fuel. I'm just going to pry this little grommet up and out. I like to use these little bent needle nose. You can grab it just like so. Wedge it. Pull out your yellow. Pull out your vent. Okay, you can break these off because you're not going to reuse these. Now that you've got your hoses connected to the other carburetor, you don't have to worry about where they go anymore. Okay, and now you're down to the grommet. And now I'm just going to grab this grommet, pull it right out. And out comes our pickup. It doesn't look too bad. It's pretty dry. Doesn't look too bad though. Got us a rag. Get out of here. I don't want this on you. Hit it with a little brake clean. Wipe up that opening. Clean that really good. Okay. Set this aside so the doggy don't sniff it. Get it down deep in the tank. Okay. Just push this grommet into the hole, a little at a time, until it's seated. It's a bit of a wrestling match. Once you get it started, it'll go. And push down in there. Okay, now I find the easiest one to put in first is the yellow because it's a little thicker. Because this one's thinner and it'll slide in easier. So we're going to put our yellow in. Pliers, ream that hole, make sure that it's fully expanded out. Send our yellow hose in first. Work that yellow hose down in the hole there. And I like to grab it with the pliers. Just help it the rest of the way. Support your fuel tank. Just push it down a little at a time. And start going down nicely. Once you get it a little ways in there, it slides in there pretty good, just like so. Don't use serrated pliers for this. If you have them, don't use them because you're going to tear your hose up. You want to use a non-serrated plier. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Got about a ½ inch more to go. Now we're going to simultaneously slide the black in a little bit. Slide the yellow in. The yellow one's got a mark on it. I have to put a little angle cut on this hose when I'm putting it back in. That helps it feed easier. You can even put a little oil on that if you want to get it to go in easier. Into the grommet. Okay. I usually like these to end up right about here. Okay. A little bit higher than the carburetor. Okay? You don't want it to be below the carburetor, you want it to be even with it. But it doesn't quite look exactly the same, so I'm going to just use the old gasket. It's still in pretty good shape. It's pliable, it's soft. Okay? So just make sure it's not broken or damaged anywhere, and that should be fine. Okay, so now you want to get your throttle cable. So we spin this, put your cable in there, pull it in until it locks in. See that? And when you turn that, it locks in. And you want to spin this little guy right here. Okay, you gotta drop it down. Okay, we got that tight there. There's not a lot of play in it. Now we're just gonna spin this nut. Tighten this nut up, and that'll pull it all together. And this nut's going to be all the way out, so you need to turn it all the way back in. Make sure you don't have any play. Make sure your throttle goes all the way to stop. Okay, here's your idle speed adjustment, and that should be about the same as it was on your other carburetor. You should be able to look at that and get it pretty much right where it belongs. Okay, so we tighten down the cinch nut on our throttle cable now. Alright, we've got all our fuel lines connected. We already have our gasket on because we're going to reuse this gasket because it still looks good. So you're going to get your gasket. right here. All right. And you are going to get this. And you're going to put this all together as one piece, because it just makes things a lot easier, just like so. Okay, so we got our gasket, everything's in place, we can't drop anything. Through there. Come on up here. Okay, get your screws started in there. And slow. Nice and easy. Doesn't need to be super tight. Okay. Just want to make sure it seals. And give it one more little bump. There you go. Now I put the choke on the front. And I'll tell you why. I just like it that way. If it's in the back, a lot of times I find myself hitting it or bumping it. So up here, it's out of the way. Nothing's gonna be hitting up in here and getting in this way. So I flip this over and I put it in this way. Now we're just gonna take our filter, push it onto its little piece that holds it in place. Okay. Put the choke opening up in the front now. Okay. Down, and then you're going to watch it and make sure it's seated. And when you look down in there, this is another thing, when you're putting this together, you can't see from underneath, but you can look from up here and you can look down and you can see that your air filter is seated. Okay? And then we're just going to tighten it, finger tight. And then a half a turn. Okay? Now if you tighten that up too tight, it's gonna not gonna stick or anything, but it's gonna squish the gasket around the outside edge. And then as you pull it apart and replace it and clean it, if you take this out and clean it, you know, you may end up with it not sealing really well every time. So, yeah, just for the sake of aesthetics, I just like to get it right there. So choke is down, and you see the arrow still works properly even when this is flipped upside down. But now you can see down inside. Okay. So you double check all your lines. Double check your throttle. Make sure it's working. Okay. Save the old gasket in case we need it. Get ourselves a little fuel. Fill it up nicely. Alright, so we're going to first try to pump some fuel into it. You want to pump it till the bulb is full. Okay. You want to set your choke. Okay. Double check everything. Give it a good look around. Okay. Turn your stop away from your hand. Give it some throttle. Now turn your choke off and start it without any throttle. Cutoff switch works. All right, let's give it one more cold start. Well, guys, that's how you get a free weed eater. Well, it cost me $14.99 for the rebuild kit. Let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and see if this thing weed eats. I saved a patch of grass over here. Works perfectly. And yes, Winston decided to poop right in the middle of my test spot. It wouldn't be Winston if he didn't. All right, hope you guys learned something. Go save yourself some money. If you see him sitting on the side of the road, pick that sucker up and take it home. Peace.